All right, in order to be successful today, everyone needs a notebook on their desk, their pieces out. Just put them in a pile, don't worry about it. William, why didn't you do a grand total, boss, on the quizzes? If you didn't know what to do, why didn't you ask someone? When you graded today's quiz, why didn't you do a grand total for the week? Thanks for listening to the instructions. If you don't know something, you ask. I will figure it out. Gentlemen, do better. Here we go. Looking at your pieces. Does anyone have any last minute questions? Joey, let me see your pieces before I help you out, man. Slight effort. All right, what do you got?
The Hebrew innovation.
We did that yesterday, didn't we? Okay, they're going to be the ones doing the first pressing for oil. They are going to create monotheism, which is a big deal. They are also going to create, salting of fish. They're the first ones to figure it out. All right, what do you got, Cade? Cultural for Phoenicians. They are they are Med Sea based. Their entire culture celebrates the Mediterranean Sea. Okay? They are sailors by culture. They are sailors by culture. Every single aspect of their entire society is tied to it. And then another cultural component is their polytheism. What do you got for me, Claire?
For the yellow in India, I didn't know where to find those in the book.
Yellow River is your Shang, Zia, and Zhao.
Okay.
And your India is your Harappan and your Aryans. Which you should know that, guys, because, it talks about the Yellow River in those sections. And when we talked about Southeast Asia, we talked about the Indus River. Where's the Indus River located? South Asia. What regions are in South Asia? Harappans and all that stuff. You got to think, guys. Okay? All right. One more. I'll do 3, and that's about it. Everyone good? What do you got?
Social for the Hebrews.
Social for the Hebrews. You have your religious leaders on top. So if the religious leaders are on top, what is the most important thing to the Hebrews? Religion. There you go. Okay, so your religious leaders are on top. Your second tier is going to be your business leaders. And then your next tier is going to, on the bottom, they do not have slaves. They do not use slaves. They're one of the few, so you should write that down. They do not use slaves. All right, here we go. So, in case you haven't finished or haven't started, you should really start. Anyone here done with your pieces? No?
I have one box.
What's your one box, Sterling? Let me fill it in for you, girl.
It's economic for Phoenicians.
Economic for Phoenicians. They are entirely dependent on the Mediterranean Sea. So the Phoenicians, they are the first trade-dependent civilization. And they use a bartering system. There you go. Sterling's the first one. Huh?
What's this?
Phoenicians. They use a bartering system. So say, for instance, whatever snack you're eating in class, I want it. So I'll give you 2 bottles of water for your snack. That's barter. Yeah. So if I offer you cash, that would be currency. That would be trade-based. But bartering is I give you something. That works? Okay. Put your pieces away. Your pieces is due on Thursday. Your focus is due on Thursday. You have no more vocab quizzes for the week. We're done. Okay, we're done for week 2. You will have a vocab quiz on Friday because I'm trying to get you into the pattern. Eventually, you will be testing on Wednesdays, and you'll have Wednesdays and Thursday off from vocab, and you'll be testing on Friday. Vocab quizzes on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Testing on Wednesday. Everyone want to see the pattern I'm trying to get you to? Next week, we're shaving a week off, and probably the worst week to shave, but here we are. Okay, on your whiteboard. When we use whiteboards, so every day that you come into my classroom from here on out, I'm not going to be standing with a green sign at my door. You are young adults who take AP World. You are capable of reading a sign. So on my front, You will take a glance as you look in, and it'll tell you what you need. So if it says pick up crayons, what are we doing that day? We're doing a map. See, figured it out. We're doing whiteboards. We are doing a lecture. Okay, we haven't done a whiteboard section yet, so this is your first experience with him. You need to be reading my sign every single day. It'll give you instructions. So everyone clear on that. Okay, so here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the first city in the world? Name. As soon as you have the answer, show me the board. Here we go. Good. All right. Here we go. What is it? Daniel? Sumer. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what are the two rivers in Mesopotamia? Good. I got one. I got 1, 2, 3. All right. What is it, Brian? Tigris and Euphrates. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the first really, truly important leader? He's going to change taxation. He's going to create the first standardized law code. He's also going to improve legislation. Good. What is it? Evan? Hammurabi. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Hammurabi is from what city? This city will overthrow the Sumerians and become the most powerful. It's also known for its hanging gardens. Joey.
Babylon.
Babylon. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name, what type of religion does the Mesopotamians have? What type of religion is it? Come on, people. Good. Gabby. Polytheistic. On your whiteboard, please tell me. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what do we call the only infrastructure built by the Mesopotamians? Good. What is it, Lauren?
It's like a tiered, like.
Just tell me what its name, girl.
Oh, zebra.
It's a ziggurat. Yes, it's a ziggurat. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is... we know that Mesopotamia and East Asia are trading because what good is located in Mesopotamia from East Asia, specifically the Shang? Good. What is it, Sam? Bronze. Very nice. On your whiteboard, what is it called when men rule society and women have a second-class station? Good. Jared? Patriarchy. On your whiteboard, what is the name of the first writing system, and show me what it looks like. If you don't know these answers, I'm perfectly comfortable with you flipping through your notes and looking. But you sitting there looking at me, looking at you, is not working for some of you. Some of you are getting rocked. What is it, Evelyn? Uniform, and how would you describe it?
It's like, a virgin.
Yeah, it's little wedges. Okay. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the first piece of literature ever written? And it was done in Mesopotamia. If you don't know these answers, you are more than welcome to flip through your notes, people. Good. Brian. There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the leader of the Hebrews who makes Judaism monotheistic? What is the name of? So far, no. I got a bunch of wrong answers. Some of you are just wrong. What is it? Ashlyn. Moses makes it monotheistic. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did not, and there was a lot of you who didn't know that, maybe making a note next to it, put a big star because it's something you're struggling with. Yes? Be aware of what you know and what you don't know. On your whiteboard, who is the father of Judaism? Also, Christianity and Islam, because they are all connected. Good, Reagan. Abraham. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the first kingdom that the Hebrews lived in? Good. What is it, Maggie?
Israel.
Kingdom of Israel. On your whiteboard, after they get kicked out of the kingdom of Israel, they move to the kingdom of... Good. What is it, Tess? Judah. Some of you are getting straight up rocked, by the way. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Actually, I think that's it. That is the point of whiteboards. Do you see how handy they are? Do you see that it makes it very clear what you do and what you don't know? It is in your best knowledge, your best interest to make sure that if you keep getting things wrong, you're doing something about it. If you got more than 2 wrong, you need to spend time going through your notes. You should have been able to get all of those correct. Okay? So it is on you. It is your responsibility to take ownership because that test on Thursday is a tricky one. It is not low-level questions like that, but if you don't know that basic content and be able to apply it, you're going to get rocked, yes? So if you're struggling on basic recall, you're going to have a tough time on Thursday. Here we go to the notes. Who can raise your hand and tell me where we left off? What do you got, Maggie?
The Phoenicians were the first seafaring.
Perfect. So the Phoenicians is where we are. So the Phoenicians are your first seafaring nation. They are on the Mediterranean Sea. It is important that you know that they're on the Mediterranean Sea because they're going to lay the foundation for the Greeks, who are going to be your next seafaring nation, and they're going to have the first seafaring empire. So they build on that legacy. You need to understand it's the Mediterranean Sea. You need to know that the Phoenicians create a simple alphabet. This is a very big deal. They create a simple alphabet. Why do you think they create a simple alphabet? Why would they need it? Why, Joey?
For communication with other.
No. Sam? Trade. Guys, what are they doing on the sea? They're trading. So you need to keep count of how much stuff you got, how much stuff you sold, right? You need to keep everything labeled and organized if you run a business. They're running a business. They need a writing system. They're going to spread this writing system throughout all of coastal Europe. It'll be the foundation for all Romance languages. Who can tell me what are the Romance languages? Or give me a couple of them. What do you got, Shannon?
English, Spanish, French, and
Oh, there's like 10,000 other ones. But English, Spanish, French, all of them except for Greek are coming from the Romance languages. If you know any Greek, you know it sounds like nothing else in Europe. Okay? And that's because it does not stem from the same origin. It all comes from the Phoenicians, including ours, of course. Okay? So, you do need to know. That's pretty much all you need to know for the Phoenicians. You do need to know about Indo-European migrations, though. Indo-European migrations are essentially white people moving around Europe. Okay, you do need to know that. They are going to be one of the first people to domesticate horses. Okay, who can raise your hand and tell me what's the importance of horses? What is the real importance of horses? Okay. Travel, fine, but what's the real use to us?
the military.
Military's not a bad answer. Reagan? Agriculture. You need to move stuff, people. Okay? They can do heavy lifting. That's a big deal. So you need to make sure that you know the Indo-Europeans are responsible for it. Okay? All right, here we go. Egypt is your next one. I would skip a space, write a big heading. Egypt. Egypt is located on what river? What do we got? I know it. Ugh, damn it. What is it, Lily? The Nile River. Okay, what do we already know about the Nile? Who can raise your hand and tell me what we already know about that Nile? What do we know, Sterling?
It's very predictable.
Very predictable. And if you have a very predictable river, what does that mean you have time to do, Christian? Create more infrastructure, which is why the Egyptians are going to have way more than anyone else because they have the most predictable river in the entire world. Okay, so make sure you have a note about that. Okay, so predictable flooding. Okay, you need to know that they are trading. You need to know the Egyptians are trading heavily with the Mesopotamians. So all of the information between Mesopotamia and the Egyptians are being shared. Okay, so if the Mesopotamians have bronze, who else has bronze? If the Mesopotamia has iron, who else has iron? Egypt. Okay? Now, you need to understand that there are a couple different things about their government you need to know. For instance, you need to know that the leader of Egypt is called a pharaoh. Okay? You need to know that term. You need to know that the pharaoh is the direct religious leader. Okay? He is both political and religious. Okay? So, he is in charge of all of the religious components and all of the political things. So if you are going to start your own country, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to secede from the United States and you're going to start your own country. If you want to be the most powerful leader in your country, the best way to be the most powerful leader in your country is start a religion about you and control the government. So, which country is going to have the most centralized government? Egypt. Egypt. You want to write that down. Egypt is the most centralized government because of it. The religious leader is the political leader, and that is the pharaoh. So all decisions have to go through the pharaoh, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Okay? They are absolute rulers. You need to have that term down. We're going to be using it all year long. Who can tell me what an absolute ruler is? What is an absolute ruler, Brian?
He has all the power.
Kind of. So he has all the power. I mean, if you're king, you have all the power too. But what does absolute ruler mean? Not all kings have absolute rule. But all pharaohs have it. What do you got, Emma?
They don't have like a committee under them that like helps them make decisions.
So what does that mean? They can do what? They can do whatever the hell they want. Okay? There is no one to challenge their power or authority. No one can challenge their power and authority. So if they wanted everyone in Egypt to cut off an ear, guess what's going to happen?
We're gonna cut off the ear.
There you go. No one's allowed to voice any displeasure. If the pharaoh wants the ear off, guess what's coming off? The ear. For every single person. That's absolute power. Does the President of the United States have absolute power? No, thank God. Doesn't that sound terrible? Oh my goodness. And a lot of, as we go through history, we're going to pull back all of the rulers who do have absolute power, right? Because it's not a good thing for normal people like us, correct? Not that really cutting off ears becomes a fashion trend, but it can be done and it's a real abuse of power. Okay. You do need to know that the infrastructure being built, of course they have pyramids, of course they have sphinxes and temples. They have these massive structures because of the, well, slaves are going to help, but the consistency of the river is going to give them the opportunity to do it. They're also going to have slaves, of course, do it. So the pyramids, you just need to know the infrastructure they're building are pyramids, sphinxes, and different types of temples. You need to write large scale because it's the largest buildings in the world at this time. Okay. You need to know that the Egyptians have a rival of Nubia, and they compete for trade. Their rivals are Nubia, and they compete for trade. Okay? And that's pretty much what you need to know. So, that's Old Kingdom. Now you're going to write New Kingdom. New Kingdom is still Egypt. You do need to know that they are building up their military to avoid invasion. During the New Kingdom, they're building up their military for invasion. During the New Kingdom, we're towards the empire building section of this unit, which means what? War. People are trying to conquer Egypt. Who can raise their hand and tell me why people want to conquer Egypt? Why? Joey. There's not a ton of gold. There's gold. There's gold, for sure. There's just, Africa's got gold, but it's not the biggest reason why people want it. Reagan? Yeah, man. Guys, where's the best place to be living in the world so far? Egypt. Guess who has the best irrigation? Guess who has the largest surplus of food? Guess who has the most high in demand items? Guess who has the comfiest city to live in? Guess who has the best temperatures? Yeah, it's a pretty good place to be. That's why the Greeks take it over. That's why the Romans take it over. That's why the Mesopotamians try like hell to take it over. That's why over half of the time Egypt, like the ancient Egyptians are around, they're conquered by other people. Why? Because they're so cool. And the things they have and the technology they have and the advancements they have is why. Okay. During the New Kingdom, you need to know that they crush the Nubians. And they remove the threat of the Nubians. They crush the Nubians. And they are removed. Okay. So, technology is your next section for the Egyptians. You need to know they get bronze from Mesopotamia. But they get it kind of later on. Obviously, because they had to go from East Asia to Mesopotamia, and then from Mesopotamia to the Egyptians, so they got a little late. However, the Egyptians are actually one of the first people to discover iron. So they're the first people to have it, one of the first people to have it. So they're going to use that to their advantage. There you go. They also are going to invent hieroglyphics. Okay, hieroglyphics are their writing system. Okay, so you need to know that they invent hieroglyphics. That is their writing system. It is a pictograph type of alphabet. You need to know that. It is pictographic, which is right here. Now, what that means is they have pictures. So when you talk about the Egyptians, and I ask you to show me what their writing looks like, you need to have a couple of examples. So, when we talked about pictographs, they are pictures that show something that's happening in the image. For Ren this year, you're going to study actually a bunch of pictographs from the Egyptian walls and the temples and all that stuff. It's very cool. Alright, so what you need to know for the Egyptians, when they have their writing system, their hieroglyphics, they have 2 bars. If I'm writing it down, it's important enough for you to do. Okay, their pictographs are always between 2 bars. And then they have their images in between and profile, doing whatever it is going on. As you can see, I'm very talented in art. Thank you for noticing. So anytime you see 2 solid bars and pictures in between, it has to be hieroglyphics. Because we're going to have pictographs again in India, and they do not have it between bars. So if you see 2 solid bars about it, then it has to be hieroglyphics. It's a nice little cheat. Okay. You need to know that it is used by a majority of people. Hieroglyphics are pretty user-friendly, and they are used by a majority of people. This is opposite of what previous writing system that I taught you about. Cuneiform, which is used by very, very few people and only the elite. Of course, hieroglyphics are most famously used where? In the tombs and in the temples and on the walls and all that stuff. Okay? Alright, so moving on to more cultural things. You need to know that they have 2 major gods, the Egyptians. They are Amun and Re. Okay, these are the 2 major gods, Amun and Re. You need to know that your pharaohs die and become gods. They're semi-gods in life. Okay, when they die, which is why they need the temples, essentially to transport them to the heavens, and that's why they'll be full-fledged gods. Okay. Now, in order to make it to the god status, they have to be mummified. If you already know this, you don't have to write it down. Does that make sense? Okay, if you're comfortable with this information, you're like, all right, I got my Egyptian stuff, you don't have to write it down. But they have to be mummified in order to make it to the heaven to become a permanent god up there. So that's why they mummify. Okay. Okay, here we go. Africa is your next heading. That was it. Actually, let's do a review on the boards. Here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me who are the first people to domesticate horses? Who are the first people to domesticate horses? Good. Who are they, Jared? Indo-Europeans. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of who has the most user-friendly alphabet? Who has the most user-friendly alphabet or writing system? The answer is what, Katie? The Phoenicians have the most user-friendly. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the most consistently flooding river in the world? Good. What is it? William? The Nile. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the ruler of Egypt? What is the name of the title of the ruler of Egypt? What is it, Emily? Pharaoh. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the nemesis of the Egyptian? Who is the Egyptian nemesis? Good. Sheridan. Nubians. On your whiteboard, please show me what the. Please tell me what the name of the writing system of Egypt is, and show me what it looks like. Good. Good. What is it, Ashlyn? And how would you describe it?
It's like two solid bars with pictures in between.
Perfect. On your whiteboard, please tell me who are the two most important gods in Egypt. Good. What is it, Maggie? There you go. On your whiteboard, a pharaoh has to be what in order to climb to heaven? Good. What is it? Madison. Mummified. All right, here we go. Bantu. This is Africa. Okay, Africa. Here we go. So, who can raise your hand and tell me what region is Egypt in? What region is Egypt in? Regan. Sorry. Middle East. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Africa, the region of Africa. Okay, so make sure you understand that Egypt technically is part of the Middle East, not Africa, even though it's continentally in Africa. The Bantu are the first people we study in Africa. The Bantu people are going to migrate through sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, take a quick look in the back. I want to make sure everyone is familiar. Look back here. Back here. Look. Okay, this is Africa. Okay, the Saharan Desert takes over pretty much all of this top part of Africa. Everyone's clear on that, correct? So if it's sub-Saharan Africa, it is everything from essentially here down. You need to be comfortable with that term because you're going to hear it all year long. So sub-Saharan Africa is from the Horn over, the Horn of Africa, which is Somalia, Horn of Africa over and down. Everyone's clear on that. Be comfortable with that language because that's what you're going to hear. Okay, so sub-Saharan Africa, they're going to migrate throughout. They're going to spread two things, and you need to know this. They're going to spread two things. Metallurgy and language. Metallurgy and language. Okay? Metallurgy is spelled like this. This is not up there. Okay? Metalurgy. Metallurgy. What do you think metallurgy is about? Metal. Yeah. So what do you think is the metals they're spreading around? Emma? Bronze and iron. There you go. So the Bantu are spreading metallurgy. They're spreading how to make these metals, bronze and iron, all the way throughout Africa. They're spreading their language. Their language is going to be the foundation of every African language present today. You need to write that down. They are the foundation of every African language to this day. All right, if you've ever heard of Zimbabwe, yes? Have you heard of the country of Zimbabwe? Hakuna Matata, Lion King, yes? A lot of the languages, a lot of the African languages in the Lion King are from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has the closest language modern day in Swahili. Swahili is the closest language today to the Bantu. They're the ones with the clicks. And they talk. No, you don't know anything about them? Okay, thank you, Sam. Sam's heard of them. Perfect. So the Bantu are going to be migrating all the way around. They're spreading language and metallurgy. That's all you need to know about them. Perfect. Yellow River. Here we go. Yellow River is located in South Asia. In South Asia, it has what major modern-day country in it? India. So to help you keep a frame of reference. So the Yellow River is also known as the Hung-Hee River. Okay? The reason why it's called the Yellow River is because it looks like it's... Look at you people. You're really figuring it out. Here we go. So it is known as China's sorrow. You absolutely need to know that. Okay? The Yellow River is known as China's sorrow. Who can raise their hand and tell me why it's called China's sorrow? If it's a river, why do you think it's called China's sorrow? Shannon?
Because of flooding?
Do you think it floods a little bit or kind of sporadically, or do you think it floods all the damn time? All the damn time. The Yellow River is the worst river in the world for flooding. It is the worst river in the world for flooding. So how much infrastructure do you think is going to be found in East Asia at this time? Not a lot. Okay? Not a lot at all. So, you need to know that there are 3 dynasties. The first one is Xia, X-I-A. Write that down. X-I-A. There's 3 dynasties in this section. First one is Xia. You need to know they gain power via flood control. They are the first ones to attempt to control the flooding. Now, they are the first government in East Asia. Okay? And they attract people to listen to them because they can control some of the flooding slightly. Okay. Then you have the Shang dynasty. So there's 2 things you need to know about the Xia. You need to know it's the first, and you need to know they attempt to control flooding. That's all you need to know about the Xia. Second dynasty is the Shang. The Shang dynasty are known for their invention of bronze. Yes, they invent bronze, and they keep it a state secret. They also create horse-drawn chariots for the first time. So, you need to put a star, and you need to write down that they are the first military power in the world. They are pretty formidable. Okay? So, you need to know that they are the first military power in the world, and they are pretty damn good. So, you need to know that it is, of course, a patriarchal society. China is, of course, going to be heavily patriarchal. It's still super patriarchal today. Not as bad as India, but we're still pretty damn bad. You're going to see that super patriarchal. That's all you need to know for them. Okay, here we go. You need your third dynasty is the Zhao dynasty. Okay, your third dynasty is the Zhao dynasty. Okay, they are going to create the mandate of heaven. They are going to create the mandate of heaven. Okay, you need to write this down. Next to mandate of heaven, it will justify the rising and falling of a dynasty by the favor of the gods. By the favor of the gods. Okay, so mandate of heaven justifies the rising and falling of a dynasty by the favor of the gods. So, if the gods liked your dynasty, are you going to stay in power or lose power? Stay in power. But if the gods are no longer happy with you, what's going to start happening? Here, actually, we're going to sit here and we're going to... If I'm writing it out, guess what you're doing? There you go. Mandate of heaven. Okay, you're going to circle it. It's going to be a nice little flow chart here, people. Okay, so mandate of heaven. Okay, so a dynasty rises in power. Okay, Then the gods approve. Gods approve. They are allowed to rule China. Dynasty begins losing favor. With gods. Gods punish. Dynasty with flooding, riots, or rebellion. I don't want rebellion. And disease. Okay? Dynasty declines. Declines/overthrown. Then a dynasty rises into power, which the gods approve, which they're allowed to rule China. Then the dynasty begins losing favor with the gods. The gods punish the dynasty with flooding, rebellion, and disease. Then the dynasty declines/overthrown. Then another dynasty rises. Do you see how this is a circular pattern? It will justify the rising and falling of 18 dynasties in China. It is the heart of East Asian government structure. You need to know this. You need to understand it. You need to be able to throw it down at a moment's notice. Okay, so it is the Zhao who come up with the mandate of heaven. They create the mandate of heaven for justifying the overthrowing of who? Shang. So they need to come up with a good reason why they did it. And like, oh man, the gods favor us now. Mandate of heaven. It's good justification. And then it goes Yu, Shang, Zhao, Sui. The Sui are going to come in and overthrow the Zhao. So guess what they're going to use? Yes. And then the Zhao are going to be overthrown by the Tang. And guess what they're going to say? Mandate of heaven. Do you see how it's a perfect excuse for the rising and falling of Chinese dynasties and the justification of the new dynasty? This is a huge deal. You need to really grasp the mandate of heaven. It is for sure a huge component. This will be on your AP exam, guaranteed. Have you heard me say that to you about anything I've taught you in the last 7 days? No, because I'm not really sure how much from this week will help you on that AP exam. Okay? I know I have to cover stuff so you have a basic idea of how civilizations are set up, but I can guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, that is on your AP exam. It's a keystone. You have to know it. Okay? So, as we come across things, especially in the early part, when we haven't even hit 1200 yet, which is officially when your AP exam timing starts, I will then be like, this is all you need. However, I will tell you there's a couple big things you absolutely need to know from the ancient stuff. That's the first one we've come across. Now, all the other things that we've covered, is it important that you understand? Yes, because all of your modern civilizations are heavily based by the ancient ones. So you have to know it, which is why I'm going through incredibly fast, and you're not getting that much detail. Honestly. With that being said, this is a huge component. It's your first thing that's absolutely on your AP exam. On your whiteboard. Here we go. I'll stop there and we'll review. Hopefully you see how valuable the whiteboards are. Would you agree? They're very helpful. Lets you see what you know and what you don't. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the first dynasty in East Asia. Give me all 3 of my first dynasties in order in Asia. Give me my first 3 East Asian dynasties in order. Good. Who are they, Sam? There you go, on your whiteboard. Please tell me, what is the most tumultuous river in the world? It floods all the damn time. Good. What is it, Sophia? The Yellow River. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the people who spread metallurgy and language throughout Africa? Good. Who is it, Joey?
Bantu.
Bantu. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the most consistent river in the world? Good, Gabby. Nile. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the foundation of government systems in East Asia? It justifies the rising and falling of dynasties. Good. What is it? Sheridan.
Mandate of heaven.
Mandate of heaven. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the man who is going to turn Judaism monotheistic? Who turns Judaism monotheistic? Good, William. Moses. On your whiteboard, please tell me who is the father of Judaism? Good. Who is it, Evelyn? Abraham. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the people who created the most user-friendly alphabet in the world at this time. Good. What is it, Christian? Nations. Now please listen carefully. When the bell rings, you are going to put your whiteboards and your markers and your erasers. If you've used a paper towel, which is perfect, which is why we have paper towels, put it in that bucket so other people can use it. Don't come clear on that. We're trying to save some trees. If you want to pack up, put your stuff away, that's fine. Every single day you need to be reading my green sign to tell you what you need in class. Tomorrow, I have to finish East Asia and we need to review for your test because your test is on Thursday. You have no vocab quiz tomorrow. Are we excited?
Yes.
Good. You definitely earned it. Have a good day. Make sure you're putting my boards back with my markers. Not leave anything behind. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Jared, did you put a marker away? Okay, there's markers underneath your board, that's why I'm asking. You're good. Someone left it there? That's fine. Of course, please, help yourself, that's why it's there. Okay, so just remind me tomorrow. Okay. Sorry, off the top of my ass. You can do it before school, after school, or during lunch. Guys, everyone needs a whiteboard, a marker, and an eraser, please. Whiteboard, marker, and eraser, please. Did you bring it to Miss Phillips or not yet? Why don't you do it now? You're good.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough.
Perfect, no problem. Nice job going on the fly, man. Nice job going on
Every
the fly.
single lie that tells me I will never measure up.
Yes, 701, yeah. It's new building, yes. Guys, we're gonna
Am I
find
more
your
than just the sum of every high and every low?
pick up your focus, pick up a whiteboard. Let's go quickly. Pick up your focus.
Remind me once again just who I
And
am,
whiteboard and
because
pick up
I
your
need
focus.
to
Go.
know.
Whiteboard, marker, eraser.
Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing.
A whiteboard,
You
marker.
say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I'm held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, oh, you say I'm in love when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short, when I don't belong. Oh, you say I am yours, and I believe. Oh, I believe what you say of me. Oh, I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet.
Quickly, move with emergency here.
You have every failure, God. You have every victory. Ooh, oh. You say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. You say I'm.
Okay, you got about a minute. I'll give you 2 minutes. Jack, Rush, Carly, Mackenzie, Mary Ellen, Gabby, Andrew's over here, Zeta's over here, Mr. Lopez over there, Tess is here, Michael G is right here, Lakeisha. Say one more time. Vishnaver. Lauren. Vishnaver. Daniel. Ellie's not here. Ethan is here though. Leah is here. Avery. That way. Miranda is more right here. Lucy. Miranda. Hannah. Sean. Callie. Charlie. Josh. Can you put that on Josh's back? Maddie Miller. Marley. Perfect. All right, here we go. You got 10 seconds. Four, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Straight and grade. Let's go. Everyone straightening and grading. Here we go. Who can tell me what is Hammurabi's code using full and complete sentences? Not giving me basic. You're giving me a full and complete thought.